Hey there people, Pub here. It's a little bit of a different video. It's actually going to be a review of the recent pair of work boots that I bought about a month ago, maybe coming on 2 months ago. So I've had a bit of time to bed them in and get used to them and see what they're like. I did a very different video compared to what's usually on my channel a handful of months ago. I think it's 2 videos ago maybe, where I showed you my everyday scaffolding tool belt, what I carry with me, the type of tool belt, why I have the individual tools and stuff, just so you can kind of get an understanding of what I wear and why I wear it. But one thing people hate doing is buying a product and not knowing what they're getting, especially clothes or boots, because once you put them on your feet, you usually can't return them. So I'm giving you an insight here into these Amblers, more specifically the FS999s, which is a S3 SRC rated safety boot with a composite toe cap and a composite midsole. It also has at the front here, as you can see, a rugged toe cap, which is really helpful because you'll find boots like specifically more suede kind of boots, DeWalt's for example. Over time, where people kick stuff or catch their toes, that suede starts to come loose, starts to come away, and you start to see the bare toe cap. This isn't going to be the case with this. It's really, really helpful. Also means if I ever need to kick something, I do have the extra toe protection. Sometimes what you'll find is if you don't have this type of reinforced front and you went to kick a tube or kick a brick or kick something, whatever, you'll find that your feet inside sort of slide forward a little bit like that every time you kick something, and you keep banging your toes, and eventually it's repeated stress injury on your toes if you do it often, and eventually it obviously could potentially lead to an injury, and it's just not nice to feel your toes banging against stuff when you can avoid it. Got the same thing for your heel here as well. Your heel's got a reinforced reinforced heel. So if you ever need to do the exact same on the front with your toes, but with your heel, you can do that and not have any drama. You got a zip on the side here, so if you wanted to lace up your boots, as you can see here, I have my boots laced up. It has not eyelets, but it has little latches, so instead of it going through, it can just go, you can just quickly show you, you can just literally slide it off like this, slide it straight back on if you want it, because they're latches, not eyelets. I prefer that, but at the same time, I've laced up my boots exactly how I want them, and then at the end of the shift, all I do is, imagine this is all done up, and my foot's in the boot, literally undo that Velcro, slide down the zip, see that's undone, and I just literally loosen these and my foot just slides straight out. So every single day when I turn up, I haven't got to relace my boots, I haven't got to readjust them, just maybe put my foot in, pull the laces tight, happy days, I'm ready to go. As you can see, my work boots are pretty dirty. I've kept them like this so you can see that they have been worn and they have actually been used, about 2 months worth of wear. Little background on what I do, if I haven't already said, I'm a scaffolder, work in all different types of conditions, industrial, residential, commercial, on the tracks as well, like so I do PTS work and so on and so forth, demolition jobs, new builds, you name it, I do it all. So these have been through the wars. Some days I'll be on a nice site, some days I'll be on quite a rough site. The previous boot I had to this, so you can make a comparison, was a pair of Caterpillars. These Caterpillars were some of my best boots I've ever had coming into the industry. They lasted me around about 3 years, give or take. My Caterpillars, ironically, lasted me such a long time. So I wanted to make sure that when I went on to get my new boot, I was just as happy. Now, I know when you buy boots and clothes and stuff, you can't usually return them once you put your foot inside, so people want to make sure you're getting exactly what you paid for. And long story short, would I recommend these boots? Yes, I would. They cost me £75. I bought them from Screwfix. Went down the store, picked them up on the day, which is great. And obviously my company gave me some money back, so I only had to pay a fraction for these, which is nice. Yes, would I recommend them? Absolutely. They are a solid pair of boots. I didn't have to break them in. I didn't have to bed them in. I could literally turn up, take the packaging out, put my foot in, and go straight to work and not have any rubbing, no blisters, no drama. Nice pair of boots. They're worth the money. They are not waterproof. They are water resistant, meaning you can expect that obviously if it rains, your foot stays dry. If you step in a puddle, to a degree, it will stay dry. But if you just submerged your boot, you can expect water to get in. So it's not waterproof, it's water resistant. As I said, steel toe cap, steel midsole, reinforced toe cap, reinforced heel. It's a thin-sulated boot, meaning you could wear a thin sock if you want to, and also still remain with warm feet. It's not made for like sub conditions or really, really cold conditions, but as you can see by the top here, it's got a lined tongue and a lined ankle-like support. And as you go all the way through, it's padded nicely all the way in, comfy, very comfy boot to wear. I'll give it to it, very comfy. the durability, the survivability, the practicalness, and the fact that it's a composite and it has all these reinforced parts and whatnot, the zip on the side, sorry, here, the fact that it isn't eyelets, it's latches for your laces, everything fits perfectly for a boot that I wanted. And I thought to myself, if I buy this and I'm not going to like it, what other boot am I going to move on to? But luckily I haven't had to move on to any other boot. Grip is superb. I do not slip. Oh, look at that. What do you know? So I just found out, look, I have a nail in the bottom of my boot. Thank you for the midsole. I only just found that, so that's perfect. Point proven, didn't go through. Yes, grip, very good grip. SRC, I believe, is the rating for its slippage. I believe SRC is the correct tag or whatever you use on a boot to determine the grip. But yes, I don't slip on wet, slimy boards, rainy days, standing on tube. I've never lost my balance. I've never lost my grip. Very thoroughly pleased with these, and they seem to be lasting quite well as well. The grip's all still rather there after 2 months wear. If I can make a recommendation, this is my first boot that is a composite. I do not have any steel in here. It's metal free and it makes a world of difference. I will never, ever, ever go back to a steel toe cap or a steel whatever. I would rather pay the extra 20, 30 pound and have, well, I don't even notice these are on my feet sometimes. They're so light. Like these are incredibly light for the size of boots they are. They might look big. They are a big boot, but the weight is not there in comparison to the size. I personally like having these tall, high ankle boots for the support. There's been countless times where I've had like a medium sort of support or a low support, and it's much easier to roll your ankle, much easier or very easy, what you want to call it, to roll your ankle in comparison to having a high ankle boot like this. I'm all about safety. You go to work, I want to come home how I went to work. I don't go to work to injure myself. I go to work to earn a wage for my family, to pay my bills and provide for who I need to provide for, and myself. And if that means that I'm on my feet for 8 to 10 hours a day, scaffolding, carrying tens of kilos, hundreds of kilos, if not tons worth of equipment in terms of weight all day, I need to have a good pair of boots. These are a size 12. I'm about 11 and a half. I always go for slightly bigger so I can account for the socks. If I need to wear double socks if it's really cold, or if I want to wear a thick sock because it's cold. But yeah, these are an overall really good pair of boots. Thoroughly pleased. As for quality, I've not noticed any drama with the quality. All the stitching seems to be remaining in place. Same for this one as well. This is my left boot, slightly cleaner because I'm right-footed, so I suppose I do more on my right foot. Exact same thing with this boot. Both of them have held out very well. Amazing grip. Loving the reinforcement. Loving the insulation. No bedding in. No breaking in. Slip on. Go straight to work. Would I pay £75 for these again? Yes. That's a simple answer. Would I give them a 5 out of 5? Potentially. Yeah, potentially. I will probably come back to that review in maybe another 4 more months once I've had them for about 6 months and see what the condition of the boot is like then. But at this time, I would rate this boot easily a 4 out of 5. Without a question. There is a 4 out of 5 rating for this, potentially even a 4.5 out of 5. Maybe a 5, depending on what it's like in 6 months' time. Go and get yourself a pair of these. They're well worth the money, and you won't be disappointed. As for the insoles that come with it, usually most boots are quite bog standard. This is the bog standard insole that came with the boot. Am I unhappy with it? No, they're very comfortable to wear on my feet, even with this. But obviously, I like to go a little bit above and beyond and take the extra stress off my body. So I went ahead and bought another pair of insoles, ones that are a little bit more expensive, a little bit better. And I decided to wear both of these together inside my boot. With these two together and a thick sock on every day, there's no movement, there's no problems with my boot. I don't feel like my feet are too trapped inside, like too tomby, as if they're in a tomb. No, lots of wiggle room for my toes still. Breathability, I can breathe, my feet still breathe. I don't take my socks in the day and I'm sweating. Boots don't stink either. But yeah, the regular standard insole that comes with it is rather nice. For a standard entry insole, usually there's nothing to them. They're a bit of cardboard even. These are worth it. These are nice, but I like to take that extra little bit of stress off my body, like I said, and add the double insole. So, if also another recommendation, if you do get a pair of boots, I highly recommend getting yourself a good pair of insoles. Don't be a cheap don't be a cheap or frugal type person. Spend £20, spend 10, 15, £20. These ones were specifically £17.99 from Boots. They're well worth the money. They take the stress off your feet. Please invest in a good pair of insoles. They'll make your life a lot easier, a lot better, should I say. That's about all from me. The video's gone on for about 10.5 minutes now. Didn't expect it to go that long for a pair of boots. Hopefully it was a decent little review. I will maybe touch up on a video in 6 months' time. If you have any questions, concerns, wherever in the comments, let me know, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you have any questions about what I do for work, trade, stuff like that, feel free to ask questions. And I might potentially making a new video rather soon about my apprenticeship, because I recently fully qualified in my trade. I had 3 years doing this apprenticeship. Bit longer than I expected due to redundancies and stuff, but there might be a new video coming soon. Anyway, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully it's informative, and yeah, I'll see you out on site.